Hi guys, this is Nate. Just wanted to bring you a little bit of dually content in case we haven't gone over the truck yet. This is a 1985 that I picked up a couple months ago, and an old man built it to pull a skid steer with. The truck had sat since about 2009. Let me rev it up real quick and get the idle back down. There we go. The truck had sat since about 2009, and so I had to do a lot of work cleaning up the fuel system and whatnot to get the truck going through the wipers and everything. It's a 318, a 727 automatic, and it's all together a really solid truck. The floor pans are great, the rockers are great, under the bed's pretty solid. It's got one spot of rust in the drip rail, and I got a steal on this truck, I'll be honest with you. It's got a mild 318, Hedman headers, a quadrajet on it, and everything seems to work really great. It's got aftermarket coolers, engine oil cooler, power steering cooler, transmission cooler, dual remote, oil filter setup. I mean, the old man built this to pull. It's got a trailer brake controller and all this stuff. Now, the downside of the truck is it's a 327, excuse me, it's a 318 727, and it's got a 411 rear, and so this thing does about 45, and it'll do 60 screaming. You know, that's just not gonna cut it. So it needed some sort of drivetrain swap, and I played around with the idea of doing Cummins, but I've just got a little bit too much going on. I've got to finish that blue Ford, I've got to finish what we call Rusty, and we've got several other trucks that need done. This IDI needs a engine swap. They lost it up the bed and ran it over. But anyway, back to the dually. What we're doing today, I've got the truck sold to another guy named Nathaniel out of Texas, and we're going to be pulling the 318, the 727, the engine wiring harness, and basically anything that you would need to 318 swap another truck. So the idea here is that maybe in the future we'll toss this drivetrain in another truck, or potentially a Dodge Dart, or something pretty neat like that. I hate to sell the truck, but my company Bolster has got some big expenses. I'm going to be spending $20,000 to $30,000 this winter on a new product launch, and so this is just one of the things that has to go. But it's going to a good home. He's going to come and swap the truck, and hopefully four-wheel drive swap it as well. I'll show you a little bit on the interior. I'll cut it off that way it isn't too loud, but it's got 91 to 3 bucket seats. Who knows if it's 111, 211, 311,000 miles, but it's got a lot of cool stuff going on. It's got really interesting patina, and I threw a 74 back seat in it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this was an old highway department truck, and so people were carving their names in it while they rode back here, and it's got a lot of great patina going on, and you know, working on this truck and going through it and getting it reliable where you can daily drive it, I could just feel the amount of effort that went into it. All the wiring is done properly, everything is loomed, and you know, it feels like a truck that I would have built if I'd been an older codger putting this thing together. The block was never painted, you know, but it definitely does have a mild cam and some nice exhaust, and it's just so cool. Anyway, it's gonna get a Cummins, and then maybe we can put this drivetrain into something else. With this 727, you really need something that's like a 321, 323 gear set at a minimum if you're trying to run down the highway, or even better would be to have an overdrive like an A518 or something in the truck. But the Cummins will be the way to go. You know, nothing's really gonna compare to how they pull. But anyway, here's the truck, and this video will detail a little more on basically just yanking some of the drivetrain out of it. I hate to do it, but got to make some money and move along to the next thing. Yeah, gotta get the hood off. Go over here, same thing on the other side. Start with the fronts, and I'll have you support it, right? And I'll pull back out. I'm gonna go ahead and brake sits, right? Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is like non-overdrive trucks are like yeah, you can't do anything without overdrive. Right. Go over what we need to do for this truck. I've already got the hood pulled off. So my brother's here. That's about the only thing you need 2 people for, except for pulling the engine, which isn't necessary. But drain the radiator, drain the oil, remove the exhaust. We've already got the hood removed, so I'll check that off. Headers, distributor cap and wires, radiator hoses, power steering belt, the fan shroud, the radiator, coolers, transmission lines, power steering hoses, fuel lines, engine grounds, the wiring harness, the drive shaft, because I'm going to keep the front yoke, the transmission cross member, which actually we need to do the trans linkage prior to doing the transmission cross member, and then we'll do motor mounts, and then hopefully we'll pull it. If there's anything else, I'll try to note it in the video. Alright, so we're about to start tearing into this. You don't have to have a lift. Of course the lift helps, but we did a lot of work without it back in the day. Just had to work hard to get it. Alright, so we have removed the petcock to start draining the radiator. Majority of that is water anyway, so we probably won't reuse it. We're flushing the radiator because it had some old antifreeze in it, but anyway. Oh, excuse me. Don't reuse your oil, unless you're me, and you got a bunch of junk, and you sink trucks in the creek. Ooh, what's this tag? Oh, homemade plate. Ooh, that looks bad. Drain oil. Long truck. You know, I probably should put some 2x4s in the back. Or a 4x4 chunk. A 4x4 would probably level it up. I think I'll use a 2x4 for convenience sake. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is remove these this exhaust, because we'll probably use it on another project in the future. These Headman headers have a 3-bolt style clamp on either side. And this uses a 9/16. So if they're stubborn, you might want to think about putting heat on them. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll come apart. Maybe Headman uses great quality stuff. Heat, it would probably be our friend here, but I'm going to try to do it without heating it. I don't have any acetylene. And honestly, these feel fine. I think they use really good quality fasteners. Oh yeah, it's coming right off. Excellent. Alright, 1 down. 5 to go. Other ones are going to be more difficult, but we'll get them. Yeah. Should go up one more click. What do you think? Oh, a lifter's handy. Not necessary, just handy. Make your life a lot easier. I paid $1,500 for this. I had to replace both lift cylinders, but It's a Challenger 9000. It is pretty great to have. I've done so many projects on it. Engine swaps, axle swaps, short bed conversions, all kinds of fun stuff. Alright, so we're going to be removing the exhaust hanger here, and you know, just keep in mind this is not how every exhaust setup's going to be. This is just a little bit special because, oh boy, that doesn't feel like it's going to come off easily. This is a little bit special of a setup. Everything on this truck has been changed. It was custom. And, let's see here. All we have to do is get these two hanger bolts out, and the exhaust is done. So, you know, it's always good to stay tidy and keep a clean work area, blah, blah, blah. Ah. Oh, come on. Alright. It's not rusted at all. I don't know why it's being so ridiculous. Alright, it's coming off easily. Thank the Lord for this old man that built this truck and parked it in the barn and didn't get it rusty. And oh boy, I've worked on a bunch of northern stuff and rusty stuff and had to cut things out. And alright. That. Oh, look, they separated. So that's good. That's about that. And that. I wonder what I do with the other bolt. I'll put it back with the mufflers in a moment. Let's take the straight one out first. Man, this is so simple compared to a lot of trucks. There's a little rust. Enough of the fun ones. Yeah, I'll be here until about 4:30. What are you doing at 4:30?
Today they got
football pictures, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'll see.
Do you want me to try to drive your Pilot and listen to it?
If you want, it doesn't have to be today, but if you want to, we can do that.
If you want to get the stuff to flush the transmission sometime.
That's what I was trying to do.
Just Google what you need to do, and I'll be there with mechanical expertise, and you can have the directions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's fairly, I mean, I saw it there, but it didn't look too hard.
Cool exhaust. All right. Exhaust. Remove exhaust. Check. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is take the headers off. I don't know why I checked it. Hopefully we can get them off easy. Exhaust manifold bolts are prone to breaking, and that's just how things go. The best way to take these off is with a wrench, and you can put them on there. Well, that one, wow, that is tight. Let me hop up in here. Hopefully you can see fairly well. So, best thing you can do is put them on here, and to get them broke free, you just smack this wrench. So, let's see what we can do here. And this is one of Uncle Tony's secret recipes here. That jarring force is better than a shearing force. Now these are loose, so this is gonna come right out. If you do get to a point where it starts rounding, you'll have to drive a 6-point on there with a hammer. But these right here have been off before. Old man put anti-seize on everything, so more than likely this is just gonna come off fairly easy for us. These are 3/8 on these headers, but yours may vary. Just keep that in mind. Another thing is, if it feels sticky, you can work it back and forth. Like I said, these are pretty free and you won't have to do that. But another thing you can do, I like to do if these are stock manifolds, I would leave them on, pulling the engine first of all, but if I had to get them off, you can smack the bolt head with a hammer. You literally shock the bolt. And once you shock that bolt, a lot of times, it'll get freed up. Let's see here. You know, I know this seems like it could be a daunting task, but these old trucks, there's nothing to them in comparison to the new stuff out there. I've done some turbos on some Eco Boosts, and done heater cores on newer trucks, and you know, even things as simple as tune-ups can be a nightmare. There's just too much that goes into everything. You know, I know this isn't my time to tell you exactly how I feel about everything, but I truly think we've gone too far. You know, if everybody had a Cummins swap first gen, the world would be a better place. Now, I understand emissions and all that junk, but you can't afford to work on your stuff anymore, and you can't figure it out. You know, you gotta have $100,000 worth of tools and computers to work on the new stuff. And that's not right, you know, that we have to do ourselves that way. Headman headers are nice. I'm not a big fan of this header bolt clearance though. I mean, you could only use an opening wrench on it. You'll never really torque it well if that's what you're doing. But anyway. Luckily they use good hardware. See that? A lot of these outer header bolts run into a coolant passage. So I need to slap that cooling pan, or that, well, maybe real quick. Nope, I better do it. It's those outer, oops, that was almost bad. Those outer bolts slide into the cooling passages, you know. So they need a thread sealer on them to prevent them from leaking. So far, knock on wood, this has been pretty good. All right, driver's header hopefully coming out vertically, maybe?
Are you filming again, or are you talking?
I'm filming again. I don't know, I probably got to remove the oil filter relocation. Anyway, let's see if we can come out vertically. These long tubes ain't gonna come down. Yeah. Well, not coming up. Gonna have to get the oil filter relocation junk out of the way. Drop it from the bottom. Oh, it takes. We are dripping. It's got this really neat little. See, he put this heat shield. He built a heat shield for it. Pretty cool. I like stuff like that. Real. It's like 9/16. Looks like the same exact bolts that he put the exhaust on with. Let's see what we got. Leave that real free. Even better than pictures is video footage to show you exactly what you're doing and what you need to do. I'd like to have this out by the weekend. He's gonna pick it up on the 30th. Today's just like the 20th, so I guess we got 10 days. If I'm not mistaken. Alright. I think we can get this out now. Alright. Hedman headers. Good stuff. Alrighty. Driver's side. Use what tools you can to make it go as fast as possible. Boy, I probably can't. No, I know for sure. There's no way I'm gonna be able to get this out around the starter, so once I get this bolt out, we'll pull the starter out. Maybe I'm recording. I don't know. Starter. I was wanting to say it was a 5/8. I could be wrong. It sure is, but I'm not gonna be able to get the ratchet on there. Try the top bolt.
This is a good time to note, on a factory truck with factory manifolds and Y-pipe, it's a lot easier to get the starter out. You actually do not have to remove the manifold. In this case, we have Hedman long tube headers, so we're having a lot of issues. This starter actually might have come out if the gentleman had put a high torque mini starter in, and that is something that I recommend on pretty well any old Mopar. High torque mini will fit everything from slant 6 all the way up to Hemi, and you can find them on most 1988 to 2001 Dodge pickup trucks. It's a great upgrade, and if you're not aware of it, you should definitely check into it.
I believe these are only 2 bolts plus the cable for. This is kind of tight. That's okay. 5/8 on both sides. I want to say it's 9/16 for the main lug for the starter cable, and then probably 5/16 on the other one. Could be 9/32. I love seeing this. He labeled all his parts the last time he pulled it out with a yellow paint pen. Just like me. I love it. I love it. See, look. Yellow paint pen. Cool old dude built this truck. Wish I could keep it. Got too much going on though. Headers. Still haven't got that out. Starter. 5/8. Well, that was loud. Okay. Oh, broke free. Dude, I don't know where this is gonna come out at. These headers in the way, and the transmission lines are in the way. I ain't even kidding. Things are a little bit different this time. Golly, this is way off in here. Helps to be small, strong, and flexible. I think I got some of those checked, maybe partially. Alright, so with the headers and the placement that they are, looks like using a 5/8 boxed in wrench coming over the exhaust is the way to do this. Or over the frame rail, rather. So I broke it free with that. Perhaps I can get a gear wrench, ratcheting wrench, do the rest of it. See about Pulling the wires off the starter as well. That way when it comes off, it's not just dangling. But it's not. See. Oh, there it is. So that's 13 millimeter, which equates to a half. And it is tight up in here. I'm working for my dollar today.
Okay, so basically, I had the most difficult time ever with this starter. The fact that this wasn't a high torque mini, paired with the fact that these are long tube headers, meant that I had to pull them out both at the same time. So there's a lot of footage here that we're going to skip through, but the basic procedure is that we removed all the bolts for the header, and we removed all the bolts for the starter. Took forever, and we ended up having to drop the starter and the long tube header simultaneously. It was a mess.
We are abandoning hope for the time being. I'm going back to taking the top bolts out. I am tired and frustrated and pretty positive it's in 11:30 seconds. I don't remember it ever being 11:30 seconds. It doesn't make sense to me. But it seems that way. Alright. Over the top. Maybe I could be like feeling cool. Vice grip garage. Oh, junkyard digs. I'm bleeding. Alright, so get under the truck, lift the truck, reach over the top, or you can crawl down to the engine bay. This is much more difficult because it's a larger starter and the headers are in the way. But the starter's in the way of the headers coming out, and the headers are in the way of the starter coming out. You hear that? That's progress. The good Lord has blessed my wrenching. The older I get, the worse that my hands hurt. Pretty soon I'm just gonna have two big claws. Yeah, come on, get off there. As Derek would say, yeah, get off there, yeah. We did it. Now we have to get the header up and drop the starter on the floor at the same time. Woo! My favorite part. Watch this. Starter. Where you at? Huh? Motor transmission. Grounds. Not on there, is it? Starter. Check. Oh, that starter is just horrible. Back to the headers. Why did I check it off? I jinxed myself. And then once that header goes down, hopefully the starter just poof, falls on the floor and breaks. In all seriousness, I don't want it to break. I'm just mad at it. So this is taking forever because of the header clearance. You just gotta get one bite at a time. If anybody knows of a good, or if they've ever come out with a good opened in ratcheting wrench, put a link down below, because I could really use an open in ratcheting wrench right now. Okay, I've got all the bolts out of the headers. Now watch me drop the starter on the floor and laugh about it. Or maybe not. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. I was hoping it would drop. Blah, 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 blah. starter. You're coming out of here whether you like it or not. Oh, I'm getting kind of dripped on here. Up you go, and out through this gap. Oh, oh yeah, there we go. Now this, please clear. Oh yeah, well-designed header. Not a well-designed starter. Guess what? We get to check something off. Oh yeah, I already checked it off. Well, we got starter too. Nice.
All right, guys, that's part one. There's probably going to be 2 more parts. Part one is always the most boring because you're just having to get all the connections and the wiring and just all of the small things. But in the next couple segments, we'll work on getting the transmission linkage and cross member and all that. We'll get the wiring harness. We'll get the any of the additional accessories and things like that need done, and we'll get the thing yanked out. And I tell you what, with the new load leveler I got, it took like 5 minutes maybe to yank this engine out. So hope you're looking forward to that, and appreciate you stopping by. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it.